Hello, my name is Shayla Potts, and I chose to do my literature review on social media and the younger generation. So, the three main questions that I asked that I was looking for during this research was how has social media affected the younger generation? Their mental health, their sleep, their academic success. How has social media impacted the health of the younger members of society? And does social media play a positive role in the lives of the younger generation? So I came up with this because, as much as I hate to admit it, I spend a lot of time on social media. It's a part of my routine. And I was just curious on how much time I'm spending on social media, how it compares to how much time others of the younger generation are spending on social media. And since social media is so new, there are concerns of its effects that it can have on users. And so I wanted to investigate this topic more and just see what are those effects. I think this is really important because social media is still unfamiliar and it's growing. And in order to reduce the negative impact social media can have, I think that research is essential. And as more education and research becomes available, we can then learn how to use social media to its full potential. So overall, I feel like the lasting effects of social media on the younger generation is worthy to be studied in order to understand the impact that it can have. So whenever I was looking for articles, I really didn't have a hard time finding anything. There were plenty of articles to choose from, and I think that we're going to continue seeing a lot of research and articles produced that will help us fully understand the effects social media can have and how it's impacting the younger generation. So I really do think that we're just going to continue to see a lot more research done. So, what I wanted to see was what are these positive and negative effects that social media is playing on our younger generation? Like, what are these certain effects? So, I found a helpful study by Abby Jude, and it was titled "Social Media Smartphones, Social Media, and Youth Mental Health." And this study found that social media and smartphone use are linked to negative consequences and harms in today's society, but this is a normal aspect of adolescent development. They said that because of its negative effects on physical and mental health, it can also be connected to sleep deprivation, cognitive function, increased self harm, and interpersonal relationships. And then I also found a really cool study done by Uma Rani, and it was titled Impacts of Social Media on Youth. And within this study, I really pulled out the positive impacts that the author had mentioned that social media can have. And so not all of the impacts that social media has are negative. Social media has been shown to help answer questions and solve dilemmas with the help of others. And it has also been shown that adolescents are more aware of the news, the current events, and politics thanks to social media. Based on the studies I reviewed, social media was determined to have an overall negative effect on mental health, academic success, and sleep duration. And then I also found an interesting article that focused on the socio-demographic factors that impact the use of social media. This study was titled Socio-Demographic Factors and Social Media Use in 9-Year-Old Children, the Generation R Study. And it was completed by Yu, Yang Hung, Rat, and Van Gricken. And this study found that those who come from families of low-educated mothers, low-educated fathers, single parents, and families with financial troubles are more likely to have an increased exposure to social media. And I thought these facts were really interesting. And I think this really says something on who needs to be targeted whenever we're doing prevention. Those who are more likely to have an increased exposure to social media should be the ones that we target when we're spreading awareness about the harms it may have. Overall, I really enjoyed learning about this topic, and as I said, I'm a part of the younger generation that's growing up with social media, so this has definitely opened my eyes. I've learned how important it is to be mindful of your social media use because I was not aware of all the positive and negative effects it can have. Before doing this research, I had never really thought about the effects that social media can have, and quite frankly, I really didn't care to know its impacts. But after researching this topic, I noticed that the impacts that the research journals mentioned and just looking from the outside in, that these effects are evident in the world around us. And so I think it's really important that we are mindful of these effects, and if we have more research and we know the positive effects, then social media can then be used to reach its full potential, and everyone can get good out of it, and limit the negative effects it can have. So thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I hope you guys all have a great summer.